Hey, this is Matt. Once again, what about in the videos is the paid request. This time for Jonathan. Thank you so much for that. And for those interested in requesting any type of videos, topics, reactions, commentaries, reviews, re-reviews, what have you, feel free to send it either directly to my PayPal or join my Patreon. Both links are down below in the info box. Now, Jonathan wanted me to do a commentary and a review on the 2011 film Straw Dogs, which I think I've seen the film once, probably back in the day. I worked at the video store and I rented it for free. Then completely forgot about it. It didn't really leave much of an impression with me. But if people want to request pretty much any type of stuff, again, my PayPal or Patreon links are down below in the info box under pretty much any of these videos. So let's get right into it. Have a pause at the beginning. 3, 2, 1, pressing play. Like I said, I barely remember anything about this. We have string gems. And then we have Battle Plan Productions. I don't know what else they've done. Now, of course, this is a remake of the Sam Peckinpah film starring Dustin Hoffman, which this parts of it I don't mind. I do remember liking it more than this because James Marsden, I don't mind him as an actor. I don't mind him in the Sonic the Hedgehog films and others, but he's no Dustin Hoffman. So we have a hunter killing deer right off the bat. I think these will be our villains for later. Or sort of that instance of a deer being snuffed out by these men. And more of a easy prey, so to speak, coming for the fire. Here's James Marsden. Here's his wife. I think that's Kate Bosworth, I believe is her name. I think with me, the whole Straw Dogs motif of a man who's a bit of a maybe pacifist, doesn't really believe in violence. I've seen that done in other movies I prefer. Class of 1984. A teacher trying to teach his kids, not wanting to accept violence, and then pushed to that by the third act. I really like Class of 84. From the same director who did Commando and Shonen Low Tokyo, Mark L. Lester. The Hills of Eyes remake. Which, yes, the original did that as well, but the Hills of Eyes remake I love. Aaron Stanford playing Dud, and he's a guy that doesn't really believe in violence, and then when you get to that visceral, gory third act, and his wife's been killed, and his baby's been taken, he goes in with that dog beast and just goes to town with the axe and the shotgun, and just it's a really satisfying. So yeah, if I want a Straw Dogs motif, I'll just watch the Hills of Eyes remake. I'll watch Class of 1984 and other movies. Not quite the Straw Dogs original or remake. I think Straw Dogs the original took place, I want to say, in England, while this is down south. And it's directed by a guy named Rod Lurie. He did The Contender with Joan Allen, Jeff Bridges, Christian Slater, Gary Oldman. He did The Last Castle, which I didn't mind that one, with Robert Redford. I think Mark Ruffalo was in that. James Gandolfini, may rest in peace. Yeah, I didn't mind The Last Castle. So he did this. I think it's one of those films that when it came out, people kind of said, why are you remaking Straw Dogs? Like, it came and went, and really nobody said a word otherwise about the film. It was pretty quickly forgotten. course, the southern boy, little redneck, little bit deliverance are the bad guys. Be interesting if that was switched up. If you had a southern guy like, I don't know, Billy Bob Thornton. Man, I just see that. That would actually be more interesting if it was a southern guy. Like they'd go up as Billy Bob Thornton and his wife, and he's sort of calm demeanor, and people are making fun of his accent. People make fun of how he talks. People make fun of who he is. Oh, you inbred. Oh, you the Confederacy. All this stuff, and he's just trying to work with his wife, and then sort of a play on. It's not that just South that could be judgmental. The North can be as well. That'd be a That'd be a nice twist. I would like to see that if they did. See, if I did a Straw Dogs remake, I would prefer that direction with Billy Bob Thornton. I just think of the South, Southern people being the villains. It just very typical, very routine. So it just, I don't know, feels like been there, done that, plenty upon plenty of times. I guess and next of kin, Patrick Swayze did that, where one of them went up more into the city, and the good old boys had to take their revenge, Liam Neeson and them, against these assholes up there. And Next of Kin was a pretty decent movie. Patrick Swayze, Liam Neeson. Yeah, I forgot James Woods was in this. James Woods is love James Woods as an actor. Sadly, he got kind of bushwhacked because of his political leanings, which is ridiculous. Should not have ever been the case. Shouldn't matter what your political leanings are. But he got, of course, punished and ostracized because I don't know. Recently, he was on Fox News and was talking about how he was pissed off how they ruined his career because if he wanted to get a job, it's like, you gotta be strictly this political stance, otherwise we can't hire you. It's too. Damn, James was being pissed. James Woods can turn on that intensity tenfold. So I'm just watching James Woods go nuts, and he can pull it off very well. Oh yeah, James Woods is the coach of the team in this town as well. So yeah, this gets a 5.8 out of 10 on IMDb. James Marsden plays a screenwriter. Relocates with his wife to the deep south. Alexander Skarsgård is our villain. Alexander Skarsgård, he was in Godzilla vs. Kong. I think he was in that new movie, The Northman. Now this guy here is Dominic Purcell. He's the guy who's not mentally there. I think he was in... Was it Prison Break was a big show he was in? I know he played that really awful Dracula in Blade Trinity. Yeah. Let's see. Was it Prison Break? Which I never saw. I heard a lot about Prison Break, but I never watched it. Just want to double check real quick. But he's the guy that they kind of chase after. He gets into James Marsden's home, and he's like, no, this is my home. I'm going to protect this guy. I'm not going to give him up. And the wife's like, just give him up. Just give him up. And so it makes you really think twice on the wife character. Yeah, it is Prison Break, yeah. And the other guy, is that Walton Goggins that I just saw? Yeah. I should have known Walton Goggins is always playing that sort of redneck type of guy. He did that in Predators. The redneck convict guy. Like anytime you see him, he's like playing the same type of role. Walton Goggins. You need a redneck guy. Walton Goggins is one of the guys to call. In comparison, the original Straw Dogs gets a 7.4. I just one of those things that when people saw the film, it's like, what was the point of remaking this in the first place? It didn't seem like there was much point to it. The original was in Cornwall, England. This was in the U.S. Mississippi Gulf Coast. In the original, he was a mathematician. Here, he's a screenwriter. The famous quote, I will not allow violence against this house," is not in the version shown in theaters. Oh, that's right. These two were in Superman Returns. That's right. Kate Bosworth was Lois Lane. But yeah, this film just... It's not like the worst movie ever. It kind of just sat there with me going, meh. Fine as a standalone, but you'll wonder why they bothered as a remake. Yeah. I just say failure because of... I mean, it cost $25 million and it made $10 million in the U.S. And the worldwide gross was $11.1 million. So it did absolutely nothing because either A, there's a lot of people that don't remember Straw Dogs. B, the plot just seems so familiar that people have seen it in a dozen other movies. A guy pushed too far or people push too far and they fight back. There's dozens of films that have done that. James Marsden is not a box office star. I mean, he was in the X-Men films, but people don't go... They didn't go see those because of James Marsden. He's in the Sonic the Hedgehog films, but people did not go see because, oh, it's a new James Marsden film. So, I don't know. It does make you wonder, like, what was the point of doing this? Again, the Hills of Ice remake, you know, the way he's dressed with the glasses, and again, the dad, Ted Levine's kind of... You can tell some people kind of, oh yeah, this guy, he's not tough, he's not macho, but then he becomes the fucking badass in the third act. Just look at some reviews. It sticks closely to the basic plot structure of the original, even emulating much of the dialogue. Both Dustin Hoffman and Del Henney and Peckinpah's first film felt completely authentic. The two male leads in Lurie's remake, James Marsden and Alexander Skarsgård, are typical Hollywood hunks, clearly cast for their dashing good looks and bulging pecs. In contrast, the one character that is supposed to be ooze sex appeal is played by T. Bosworth, who is nowhere near as hot as Susan George. The original caused much controversy due to its graphic scenes of rape and violence. This one fails to raise eyebrows. Plausibility stretched to a breaking point when James was a spoiler, deliberately shoots the sheriff as opposed to accidentally shooting him, and the good old boys use their truck to break into the house. The wreck being incriminating evidence, methinks. Well, I'm sure they cover it up and all their buddies would. Plausible deniability. The remake is dull, with stupid situations and non-likable, badly developed characters. Dull, unnecessary remake. Even the deer looks fake. Yeah, that deer did look a bit fake. And they did look pretty fake. Superficial guys are doing roofing work and they're ready to get drunk because they don't take advantage because they feel this guy ain't gonna do anything. He's a wimpy sack of pussy shit. He's a pussy shit. He's a pussy lover. He's pussy. Pussy, pussy, pussy. He's a pussy. That's what they think. He's a pussy. He's a sissy. He's a sissy. He's a fucking sissy. I don't think James Marsden's horrible in the movie. It's just going to be hard to be compared to Dustin Hoffman. uh, I mean, pretty much every stereotypical thing of the redneck motif is employed here. And every step of the way. He's fat, he's pot-bellied, he's got beer. He thought he would be a thick athlete. He's inconsiderate, he's an asshole, he's stealing all the beer. Surprised he didn't walk away showing his butt crack. Of course, it's James Marsden being pissed, but not doing anything about it until our finale. Like I said, I don't even remember this being that awful of a film. I just remember this being kind of dull and forgettable. Tate, Cos- Tate Bosworth, Dana. So that's the thing, is that she's lived here before, so she's used to this. But James Marsden, of course, is not. I think that's another thing, is that I'm sure on purpose, the wife just becomes a dumb, unlikable character. Just the dumbest, most unlikable person who trusts these people more than her husband, who's done nothing but be nice and generous. And this fucking bitch is teasing everybody, ready to sit on everybody's faces. And she gets attacked, and then I know the original did this. I don't know if I'm sure the remake does this, because it kind of plays like a kind of a carbon copy, from what I remember. That she did it, but then she kind of lights it, and then by the end wants to give up the guy, and James Barnes is like, nope, nope, we're not going to do this. So now James Marsden complaining, hey, this guy just came in and took all my beer, which is understandable to be mad about that, but all these people are just gonna overcome him. I think that's the thing, is that maybe back then the story, the plot seemed a bit more, not original, but not as played out. But in the decade since, I mean, that was the 70s, this is 2011. I mean, since 70s to the 80s, to the 90s, to the 2000s, to 2011s. I mean, 40 years. Within 40 years, because of films like Straw Dogs, you just saw a ton upon a ton of other either knockoffs or inspirations or stuff that will remind you of these motifs. So we've seen this. Yeah, that cat, I remember. I think that was in the original too, that the cat gets killed, and I think you find it hanging. That's why they keep showing the cat, is to remind the audience that it exists. Because soon after, that cat's going to be killed. I think that's one of the first big things to happen. So now he's jumping rope, I guess, to entice his lady. So this girl is such a country bumpkin, she don't understand chess. What is this thing called chess? Why can't it be checkers? I don't know how this chess works. I'm too stupid. I'm just a country bumpkin from the south that we don't know anything about chess. Chess? You mean like the chess of that lady cousin over there? No chess. Oh, I don't know about that. I mean, I guess with this type of film, it would depend like how much you enjoy James Marsden, how much you enjoy the cast. Guess that's up to you, the viewer. I can hear a little bit from here, so I don't need the headphones yet. I don't know how many movies have seduction via chess pieces. I don't know if this is the first one or what. I don't know how many out there have seduction with chess pieces. Okay, this will be up your ass. This will be in your pinker, and this other one will be in your stinker. There's James Woods. Just drunk, excited. So Walton Goggins is the brother of Dominic Purcell, the mentally challenged guy. I think James Woods is the father of one of the girls who Dominic Purcell either attacks or accidentally kills or something. Sorry, just the thing that piques my interest the most is James Woods. Because James Woods is one of my favorite actors, for people who don't know. From True Believer with him and Robert Downey Jr., to Videodrome, directed by David Cronenberg, to Cop, which has one hell of an ending. Great last shot. If you've seen Cop, you know what I mean. The Hard Way with him, Michael J. Fox, is a very fun movie. John Carpenter's Vampires. Just James Woods is a guy I would love to see. I've never seen him give a bad performance. When he's there, he's always intense, and he never phones it in. He's always a great asset to a film. Even what was it, White House Down he was in? I liked him in that. Always great to see James Woods. He's always a big plus. Of course, the roofing, they're taking their sweet ass time. All the men staring at her because he barely got any clothes on while jogging. Obviously, those two have a history together. Okay, let's keep reminding the audience of this cat. Very pretty looking white cat, I'll say. Don't push the cat. The cat was minding his own business. I don't know if the original had an actual explanation to the title Straw Dogs, but this explained the title. What do you say, some Chinese thing where people build them up and they're with such great relevance and reverence, and then when they're all used up, they're tossed aside as if they're nothing. I just kind of like these boys here, as he says, after football or college or high school, probably high school football, their wives just, I mean, their lives just add up to nothing else. Which I don't remember if the original Straw Dogs had an actual explanation. It might have for that title. And of course, this is him mentioning that she's dressing like a slut and she's getting pissed off about that. And you're the one that wanted to be in the first place because you live here, lady, or you did when you were a kid. I was sure gone somewhere else then. I don't know, Montana or some Montana or fucking Arizona or some fucking elsewhere. See, now look what she does. I mean, look what she fucking does. He's given an actual point, and then she just pushes it. Hey, look at this. Takes your hair down. She just comes off as a fucking idiot. A fucking moron. And this guy's ready to cry. And as Ender Sarsgaard, ready to fucking cry watching that. Just put some headphones if that's the case. Just put on some headphones. Of course, the two men vying for the affection. One's hammering, one's typing. which would come to fruition at the end of the film. The guy no one suspects would do anything to these guys, and yet becomes the lone man standing. Real dangerous. Fucking people. Why does it feel like somebody's watching me? Yeah, with a car like that, you know somehow that's going to get smashed up. I would say like James Marsden's not doing that bad of a job in this. It's just again, because there's a car coming his way. Because at least with James Marsden's character, he's doing anything he can to deal with this situation. Let it wash over, ignore the situation, not try to start trouble, try to be nice to the locals. Trying to do the best he can, and just people just keep pushing and pushing and pushing some more. Always keep pushing. Another reminder of the mentally challenged guy, which will play a big part in the finale. Like I said, James Marsden, I think he's doing what he can with this role. Like I say, he's no Dustin Hoffman, but he's doing what he can. It's just a pointless remake no one was asking for. Way too familiar idea. Not done as intense or crazy as it could be or should be. Sorry, just listen to the dialogue. Again, like James Marsden, like his character, at least with the way his character's written, he's trying to do the best he can, and it's easy to root for him. For me, I'm not seeing him doing such dumb, stupid mistakes. He's trying to work with it. He's trying to blend in. He's trying to do what he can. And it's just all these other assholes just come out of the woodwork. I'd be like, let's just pack up and get the fuck out of here. That'd be my decision. Just pack up and get the fuck out of here. It's funny how a lot of these guys are so gung-ho about church and then no one ever heeds to the words. No one really heeds to the words of the Bible, or they misinterpret it, or they twist it around to however they see fit. I don't blame them wanting to go outside, take a fucking nap. I don't blame them. Why the fuck do you care if he got up and leave? Pretty much this bag is just trying to find any reason to fight this guy, to fight our lead character, find any reason for it. I mean, you guys don't even get into the Bible anyway. Like, thou shalt not kill, and you're willing to kill willy nilly. Thou shalt not covet thy neighbor's wife. At this point, I would just be like, let's just pack him and get the hell out of here. This is what they're talking about, where all everybody in town's at. The Bengals. course, there's the assholes in the truck. Just need a fucking bazooka and blow them all up. So that's the daughter of James Woods' character. And this asshole's gotta hang around everywhere and anywhere. I'm not the only one with a trophy wife, only my trophy is third place. There's Dominic Purcell again. James was just being the shot of him, even though he didn't do a damn thing. The thing is, like, Dominic Purcell is just so much of a big buff guy that it's hard to buy that, you know, these people just completely shove him and throw him down and push him around. Like, look how, like, much of a big buff guy is. It'd be like if it was Gerard Butler or Carl Urban or someone. Yeah, James Wood just beat the shit out of him. What's wrong with principles? It's just that fucking dip measuring contest, lady. Guess he didn't take the southern girl to the north, but he can't take the southern girl out of her fucking Hickville mentality. At least based on what this movie's saying. I think that's where he finds the cat. Yeah, that's where the hanged cat is at. Yeah, just take a few guesses of who the hell that was. Is there a gun in there? I mean, in this instance, I don't blame her and her reaction. I mean, is that something fucking normal people do? Is go in and hang your fucking cat? You know, if I found a fucking cat hung in my closet, it'd be time to move. It'd be time to just get the fuck out of Dodge. Sorry, sayonara. Time to go. Time to leave. Time to skedaddle and get the fuck out of Dodge. Just saying. Just saying. Does this bear trap be used later on in the finale? Sorry, I'm not saying much, but there's just that much to talk about with this movie in terms of commentary. I will say, Jonathan, I appreciate the paid request, but I'd be curious as to what made you interested in wanting me to do a commentary on this film. Are you a big fan of this movie? Do you love this movie? Do you hate this movie? Like, I'm just curious. Why are you serving them beer? Maybe she can drug them. Drug the beer. Drug the beer. It is one of those things where you got like five, six guys, and you're not, some martial arts maestro or action movie. It's kind of hard to try to blame five, six big guys on any crime. Because it all beat up and beat the shit out of you. You mentioned the nail gun. I think that's going to be utilized again in the finale. So I think this is going to be the scene where she's going to be attacked. James Mars is taken to hunting with them very easily. I don't know if he's going. I'm trying to remember what happens. Either he gets attacked or he gets knocked out. I did James Marsden's reaction to the cat being hung. That's the first explanation of what. I think I had issue with that in the original as well. And you think with a remake you could maybe improve on that. Because like, well, being so nonchalant about a cat being hung. I mean, that's where I'm like, I don't understand James Marsden's character's point of view. Like I said, I guess you could say that for the original as well. Don't get that as well. Well, what do you expect? They're going to admit that they hung the cat, admit anything else? They're not going to admit shit. Maybe this is. They make this film for the people who didn't see the original, and for people who didn't see the original, they'd be wondering what would happen next. Like this finale here. Not finale, but this scene here. Try to build suspense of will he get shot? Will he get wounded? What else will happen? Will he get knocked out? No one knows. Another CGI deer. I mean, we disappointed you had to have fucking CGI deer in it. Obviously, in the father, he's going to be lost there, front and center. They just drive off and leave him there or whatnot. Yep, this is when she gets attacked. I think maybe for a remake, instead of being a carbon copy, they could change a little bit of stuff up. So he forces. I say forces his way in. Pretty much just stepped in. One thing I could do is look up what else came out in 2011. I don't know if I can even say that the acting in this is bad. It's just a very dull, forgettable And this is an hour and 49 minutes. I mean, we still got 49 minutes left, and it just. There's not a whole lot to really keep someone's attention. Yeah, where in the Bible does this say, dude? This is when it talks so much about the Bible. Where in the Bible does this say is worth doing and appropriate to doing? So other films that come out in 2011, we got Season of the Witch with Nicolas Cage. The Dilemma, Ron Howard film, not really anybody remembers for good reason. The Green Hornet, an awful Seth Rogen adaptation of the TV show. The Right, an Anthony Hopkins film no one remembers. We got Romeo and Juliet. Big Mama's House 3, Like Father, Like Son. Drive Angry, which I liked. The Adjustment Bureau with Matt Damon, which I liked. We got James Marsden here ready to shoot a CGI deer while Kate Bosworth is starting to enjoy the set. Yeah, I don't think James Marsden does shoot. Battle of Los Angeles is a film a lot of people hated, but I really enjoy in 2011. Really liked Battle of Los Angeles. Limitless with Bradley Cooper, Lincoln Lawyer, Matthew McConaughey. I enjoy that. Yeah, James Marsden did shoot the CGI deer. Source Code by Jay Jonah. That's another good one. So yeah, Adjustment Bureau, The Source Code, Limitless, Battle Los Angeles. Pretty decent year for sci-fi. Of course, you had Stream 4. The biggest hits of that year was Harry Potter and the Deathly Hallows Part 2, Transformers Dark of the Moon, Twilight Saga Breaking Dawn Part 1, The Hangover Part 2, Pirates of the Caribbean on Stranger Tides, Fast 5, Mission Impossible Ghost Protocol, Cars 2, Sherlock Holmes A Game of Shadows, and Thor. So everyone else is going to take their turn with the girl. Let's see. Film was originally scheduled for release in February 2011, but the date was pushed to September 2011. It began shooting in August 2009 in Louisiana. It opened September 16, 2011 with 1.9 million for the day, took 5.1 million opening weekend. Again, made 11 million on a $25 million budget. Has a 42% Rotten Tomatoes. Cinema Score gave the film a grade C. 1.5 out of 4 stars from Philadelphia Inquirer. Almost succeeds as an object lesson in the difference between being a man and being a macho animal, but it fails as a gripping home invasion thriller. Michael Phillips of the Chicago Tribune says it's a bird-brained remake that is miscast, barely functional in terms of technique, stupid, and unnecessary. The Boston Globe said that watching the film was like being waterboarded by liberals outside a Democratic National Committee event. Roger Ebert gave the film 3 out of 4 stars, said the new version is reasonably close adaptation. It's every bit as violent as the original. I found it visceral, disturbing, and well made, and said he preferred it to the original. Wow. New York Daily News was also favorable, saying 4 out of 5 stars. While Rod Lurie could have gone lighter on the symbolism, he ratchets up the tension with deft intelligence. He's not just making a thriller but a horror film, and we feel his own fear in every scene. Well, I mean, I disagree with that. Oh, is he? Great. Thunderstorms today. That's great. You want to tell him? Can't read your mind. Tell. Why don't you tell him? Why don't you tell him? I don't understand why she doesn't tell him. So she does want to leave. So she wants to leave and he's the one who wants to stay. Yeah, that just fire him. You're fired. Goodbye. Get the fuck out of Dodge. Leave. Yeah, it's time for you to leave. Time for you to go. Goodbye. Sayonara, pal. I swear this damn movie's just going in slow motion now. Just maybe because like we know where this is going, we know where it's leading up to, and just waiting for the pieces to fall. Again, just a very rudimentary, routine tip, which I know it's a remake, but it's just like, why don't you tell him, yeah, this guy raped me? Why don't you tell him all this other stuff? It's like, why does James Marsden, why do you not want to leave when Cat's been hung and your wife's begging you to leave? Obviously, she's affected by something. So now they're going to the football game. Never really could get into football. I mean, there are football movies I don't mind. Any Given Sunday I really enjoy. I would say that's my favorite football movie. There's other movies like The Replacements. I did enjoy that one. Didn't mind this one called Necessary Roughness with Scott Bakula and Sinbad. But I would say Any Given Sunday with Oliver Stone. James Woods was in that as well. Al Pacino. That would say is my favorite. Definitely say that's my favorite football movie. I'm sure with a bunch of people, football game would be fun, but of the sports, I'm probably more interested in basketball. Yeah, Dominic Purcell is trying to ignore. But I guess with the way he reacts, they were right all along about him and his behavior. In a way, they were right all along with the way he behaves and acts. They want the guy to stay away from her because he's dangerous, and then he ends up being dangerous. So in a way, they were right about that. Are you ready for some football? Hut, hut, hut. So apparently, football games reminding her of what happened. I guess call it PTSD or whatever you want to put it. Well, this ain't going to end well. Well, I already know how it's going to end. Sorry, I'm not saying much. It's just one of those films. Just not much to say about it. It's pretty just meh, forgettable. Wonder if that word's been used for this film, or am I the only one that thinks it? Straw, 2011. Type in the word forgettable. Let's see. Am I the only one that thinks that? Regrettable remake, forgettable cast. So here's some letterbox reviews. James was getting more and more pissed. Try to bring some energy to these proceedings. I understand that remaking Peckinpah has to be a monumental task, but why do they have James Woods read his tweets out loud instead of just writing them? So it's obviously someone who don't like James Woods. What could have been an emotionally disturbing drama is flat out flipped for a by the numbers straight up thriller. You work out the entire film within the first 5 minutes. It was all just a waiting game until shit starts going down. The couple is as blatantly hollow as the story and every other caricature in this backwater town. James was the patient, so he plays the violently disgruntled coach for some reason. The other bad guys just obviously bad for the sake of it. Yeah, this ain't going to end well. Should be all this crazy editing with the act that's going to lead into the finale. I mean, to be perfectly honest, then this guy deserves what he gets the way this happens. I mean, Dominic Purcell deserves what he gets, so he deserves to get lynched or whatever. Let's see. Like, so far, the highest rating I've seen is 3 stars, and even I wouldn't go that far. Cartoonish depiction of the South. I can only imagine how unsettling it would have looked if it was made 5 or 6 later. Nearly a scene-for-scene remake without the subtlety or mean spirit of its original. Oh, shit. Classic trash remake that really shouldn't exist because it's based on a purposely problematic film. So many moments are exactly the same but hold none of the weight. Climax still has its moments. Grade C minus. So pretty much they accidentally hit Dominic Purcell's character, whose arm is fucked up. Where was the tension for the first half of the movie? Just that they wanted to beat up James Marsden? Me too. For the first three-fourths of the movie, they were the guys who... Okay. Sorry, just reading through the reviews. Lame ass remake. If you can't improve the original, don't bother. Some people talking about how hot James Marsden is. What was anyone's motivation for anything in this movie? Yeah, mostly it's like 3 stars. Like the main thing is 3 stars, and even then, I'm like, I get what people are saying, where it's not that awful of a film, but at the same time, it's just inconsequential. I mean, maybe if there was a bit of a question. I mean, again, this is what I'm saying. If you want to do something different from the original, maybe have a bit of a question as to whether this guy did it or not. A question of whether this guy did do this, didn't do this. So pretty much the gist is, for who haven't seen it, is that James Wood, Alexander Skarsgård, and his men. James Wood's daughter's missing. They blame Dominic Purcell. They don't know Dominic Purcell killed her. That's, but I mean, they're right in their blame game. They're right. But it's one of those where neither characters know, neither characters are sure, neither characters know 100%. They don't know 100%, the others don't know 100%, so it becomes this siege. This is when we're going to get our big finale of the film. Last 25 minutes. Well, that sheriff's going to be dead. You already know that. He's the black guy. You know he's going to die. I think in the original, yeah, they accidentally shot the sheriff, but here it's more blatant. And of course, it's them shooting the black guy. Jen's the black guy, so you know he's gonna die, as some would say. To be honest, that doesn't happen in a lot of movies. It's just one of those things that's something we said back to the day in the 80s. If you're black in the movie, you're gonna die. Although there were even exceptions. I mean, Ken Foray and Dawn of the Dead in the 70s. Night of the Demons. My favorite character, Night of the Demons. They don't get me. Best character, Night of the Demons. Where the guy runs away from everything and he survives by doing the smart thing. They ain't gonna get weird. If you see Night of the Demons from the 80s, you'll know what I mean. It's fun character, fun movie. Ken Sidles and Elm Street 3 Dream Wars, and they killed him off in the next one. As did a few others they killed off, to be fair. They killed all the Dream Wars off, which is, eh. Although I still love Elm Street 4 Dream Master. Yeah. I mean, it was pretty stupid of James Woods to do that because the sheriff was on their side, and the sheriff could have like knocked the door down and helped get him out quicker and faster. But I guess to really hone in on these being the. I mean, we already know they're the villains, but they just hone in even more of villains. So yeah, this is where you get your finale, the Siege movie. And you just say Straw Dogs was one of the original home invasion movies. That's another thing. There's been so many home invasion movies since then that it just kind of plays off as old hat. So you just threw a rock and hit him in the head. They're shooting up the house. Sorry, I'm just watching now. I know I'm being silent. Pretty much what's going on is the people are shooting up the house. They're digging the traps. They got the bear trap. They're getting the bear trap set. He has like, was it 4 or 5 bad guys? So let's see, he's got a bear trap. He's got some, going to have some boiling water. Man with a plan. See, that's another thing with a writer. Like, being a writer, like, that would be interesting. Like, he writes a horror film, but he's not into horror films, but he's creative in that. So then maybe he takes traps from his horror films he wrote and uses them and utilizes them. Like, maybe someone's watching one of the films he wrote, and we see, like, the film within the film. Like, maybe that could have been an interesting take, like, if you have a writer. Ooh, 3 nails in the hand. Nail gun jamboree. So I like the fact that he nailed the guy's hands into the damn. That was a good thing with the nail gun. Now we got some boiling water. Hey, James Woods, you want to be Freddy Krueger? Welcome to the Thunderdome, bitch. I say that would have been maybe interesting. Like, he has these creative ideas. That's how he comes up with these things. It's like he's a screenwriter, so he's not into horror films, or he doesn't like horror films. Blood makes him sick, but then he wrote a horror film that had the stuff. I don't know. Pretty much challenging them. Let the challenge be accepted. Some bitch got some man in him after all. Okay, so we got. So the bad guys ramming their truck into the house, and she's not being able to shoot for shit, just wasting bullets. You crash into it, but now what? So this guy's burning the barn up. Our other villains have crashed through the house in their truck. James Woods tears a bit burned up on the face. Ooh, got James Woods to shoot his own foot off. And just shot James Woods with a shotgun. You have to pump it. Now it's beating it with a fire poker. And we're not seeing anything, we're just seeing James Marsden swing down, so it doesn't come off as violent. And there wasn't even much of a fire struggle, it was just guy approached him, boom, bats him with the fire poker. I don't know, like 7, 8 times. So now Alexander Skarsgård and the other bad guy have guns on each other because one's in love with the girl and the other don't give a shit. So she's able to kill that guy, and now James Marsden, this other guy, didn't in a fight. Marsden versus Alexander Skarsgård. I will say T. Bosworth's character is not as infuriating compared to Susan George in the original. I will say that. I guess that was supposed to be more of the psychological point, is that she's so fucked up, like, you don't even know which side she's on. Well, again, what propelled for me the original was Dustin Hoffman's performance. Yeah, what kind of punches are those? Well, I mean, that's the whole point, is that he's not as much of a fighter. Pretty much crawling for his glasses like he was Velma from Scooby-Doo. Kick him in the balls. That will slow him down. Or punch him in the balls. I forgot that's how came about. That just all of a sudden this bear trap just comes in frame. Boom. Well, but that kind of made me laugh. Maybe it shouldn't have, but it did make me laugh a bit. Like, shit. So the bear trap just went to his neck, not to his head. Like this or something. Well, it took care of him. Well, you want him to stand up and be a man. You got your wish, lady. You got your wish. You want him to do something. Of course, I mean, at this point, he still doesn't know that she was raped. They still don't know that one guy down at Purcell actually did kill that girl. Nail gun, slit throat, fire poker, bear trap. Yeah. You don't quite know what Kate Bosworth is thinking. I mean, that's the thing. You wanted him to stand up, and he did. So now, will you? I mean, somehow still blaming him for some reason. Screenplay by Rod. I mean, screenplay. I mean, it's pretty much take the original film and almost copy it. So his car's wrecked, the barn's burning down. Who knows what's going to happen afterward? I'm sure for a lot of people, there's some unanswered questions whether is he ever going to find out that she got raped? Ah, whatever. Kind of done. Sorry about that, Jonathan. This movie just didn't have much for me to say or offer. So, I mean, it's not the worst movie ever. It's not the worst remake ever. It's just very by the numbers. That's probably what I'll say with it. The review I doubt will be even that long. It's pretty much the same by the numbers. So with that said, thanks for watching. Take care. We'll see you guys later.